Hello and welcome to the CSN3M Mindset Monday podcast. I'm Andrew Wade with Case Specific Nutrition. On this channel, we focus on the 3 M's: mindsets, myth busting, and mentoring, all as they pertain to health and nutrition. This podcast is brought to you by Case Specific Meal Prep, our very own in-house meal preparation and delivery service. We have chef-inspired and dietitian-approved meals that we deliver straight to your door. Make sure you check us out at CSNPGH.com and place your order by Thursday at noon so that you can get contact delivery on Sunday for your week ahead. Before we dig into today's podcast, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then also make sure you share this with a friend or loved one. This podcast is all about our hashtag, which is hashtag spread the health. We are trying to help as many people as possible with their journey of health and wellness. Make sure you pick that person that you know would benefit from this information. Hashtag spread the health, send it their way, and do your part. As always, for all case-specific nutrition content, you can check us out on our social media at Case Specific Nutrition, and you can check us out casespecificnutrition.com. We're excited on our website. We actually have a new merch section where you can check out some of our case-specific nutrition apparel, and you can also get our very own in-house protein powder. We actually just released the new flavor, Daily Whey Peanut Butter. So casespecificnutrition.com, check out the apparel, the protein line, and we will be excited for your feedback. Without further ado, I present you with today's topic. Today's topic is a mindset that I like to help people develop as a part of their wellness journey, and it's called the pause play. And pause play is a really simple concept, but it has a whole lot of value and a lot of iterations that can really evolve, and it also disrupts people from the pattern that most of us live in day to day. And so most people, especially those that are seeking weight loss, and then those that are really tapering back from weight loss, realizing that weight loss is usually a side effect of health and wellness if it needs to be, and are shifting more towards what we call healthy lifestyle, there's this urgency, this drive to push things forward, and it creates this sort of allure of what I like to call the fast forward button. And that is what pretty much every fad diet is. It offers you a fast forward. So whether you're talking to that friend that did Whole30 and lost X pounds, or did keto and dropped X pounds in X days, or tried this diet or that diet, you're allured by the rate of it, right? How fast it was. That is that fast forward button. The problem is the fast forward button's opposition or complement is the rewind button. And so a lot of people live in a very volatile relationship with food, and as a result, a very volatile relationship with health habits, meaning they don't actually ever adopt the health habit. Periods of hyperfocus where they might press fast forward, scale flies its way down as a result of hyper-concentrated decisions. Those decisions don't have a chance to stick because they're so focused. That inevitably leads to basically disenchantment with them and abandonment of them. And then we have this massive rewind button where our body goes back and forth and back and forth. If you've ever heard the term yo-yo dieting, fast forward and rewind are what allow the yo to yo, so to speak, right? I present you with a much better solution, though it is not sexy enough to make me a billionaire, and it is the pause play, the thing that real practitioners that actually give a hoot about you like to do. And so here's the concept. In a 12-month year, there are 52 weeks, 365 days. Not necessarily new information to you, I hope. But that is a lot of opportunity for life to throw you curveballs. That is a lot of opportunity to go on vacation, to get sick, to celebrate holidays, to have that weekend with the person you haven't seen in forever, to have that date night or that anniversary, to have normal, boring work days. Life exists throughout that 365 days. And for us to pretend like we should be able to just hyper-focus on one thing, ignore our surroundings, is a state of delusion. Whether you're someone that says, I'm just gonna do that until I get the weight off, well, then when the weight is off, you never learned how to navigate it in the first place. So how do we expect to keep those habits while integrating these things? And so we wanna look at this 12-month calendar and identify that most of the time there's going to be periods where if you looked back on the last year, you would say, man, those couple weeks were just rough. There was this deadline at work and it had me really stressed. Or honestly, man, this month was a lost month for me this past year because I lost a loved one and it was really tragic and I had to deal with those emotions. That's that hindsight reflection of there's going to be variability in your day-to-day life. And as a result, that means that your habits are going to look different and they're going to show up different. The best thing we can do there is recognize that what happens is most people press fast forward, they focus in on something when life is easy, and then some sort of curveball comes their way, whether it be positive or negative, whether it be a fun vacation, whether it be deadlines, or whether it be the loss of a loved one, right? Something happens, and then that fast forward gets turned into a rewind. There's complete abandonment because the fast forward required all their focus, and now this new thing that, to be honest, is far more important, right, now occupies all of their focus, and we have this massive rewind. And we feel like we're regressing, and we get defeated, and that game of tug of war that just seems like it never ends happens. What we want to try and do is realize instead of pressing fast forward, we're better off pressing play. What are the habits that actually allow you to be your best day to day? What are the things that support you? Is exercise that stress reliever you need? Is it that escape from the workday? Is it that morning primer that sets you up to be the best you? That's what it is for me. You're eating, right? Is food that inconvenient thing you have to stop for in the middle of your busy workday? Or is it the break that you get to take to calm yourself, manage your stress levels, keep yourself in a good balance so that you're clear-minded and ready to tackle the second half of the day? If we can adopt these habits and allow them to take place, what ends up happening is that when life is easy, we get to focus on them, and our body naturally changes, right? And so that play button allows forward progress in our wellness journey. But then additionally, when inevitably that life event curveball comes, because we haven't been pressing fast forward, we all of a sudden don't press rewind. Instead, we're able to press pause, which is to say, hey, these habits can still exist in some fashion or form. They may not be as front of mind as normal. They may be more subconscious, but because they aren't as extreme, they actually can exist subconsciously. They don't require all this willpower and effort. So they still exist, but they may have to share some space with some other things that, as we said before, are extremely valuable and important. And so that might be that month where you lose a loved one, where instead of going from this extreme diet mindset to complete abandonment of things and having this emotional roller coaster, you instead are able to use these habits to support you during a tough time. And while that tough time might mean less trips to the gym, it might mean a couple extra meals out and some ordered food, it might mean some extra desserts from loved ones that are bringing cookies or desserts as a connection, whatever it is, it's to say that you end up navigating them in a way that doesn't create this regression, but instead is simply a pause. Where this becomes really cool is we start to see the long-term effects of this, which is someone in a fast-forward rewind mindset might accelerate a bunch of habits, drop a bunch of weight, and then abandon those habits, and how long they regress backwards is usually longer than the progress because the fast-forward time was so taxing that there needs to be this rest, but then there's also this resistance to go back to it because it was taxing in the first place. So what that ends up looking like is fast forward, rewind, fast forward, rewind, fast forward, rewind. And from there, what we end up getting is over time, people actually end up gaining weight, and they also end up with a really disenchanted and disconnected relationship with habits. Eating and moving become chores as opposed to stress supporters, right? The pause play mindset sets it up to look like this: play, pause, play, pause, play, pause. And while you might not arrive at your destination of health in record time, you will get there, and you will get there in a way that allows you to actually arrive, which means you'll be there to stay. You'll have fostered and cultivated new habits that are, one, setting you up to live there, and two, are able to weather all the storms that life has to offer us. The solution to living like the healthier you, and for those of you that weight loss is a part of that journey, the solution to living like the lighter you is to build habits that can actually support you during chaos as opposed to getting abandoned during chaos. And that allows you to become the healthier you, the happier you, in many cases, the lighter you, and allows us a way to go forward where now all of a sudden we don't ever fear that regression because that's not a part of our equation. And what this ends up looking like, I had a client yesterday that we talked about this with, and it was wow, I went on vacation, and like last year when I went on vacation, I came back and I had gained 10 pounds. And it's like, well, it's because you ate and drank as the dominant forms of escape, right? Where the new them still had fun meals, still enjoyed themselves, still had some good drinks, but got up in the morning and took a walk on the beach as a therapeutic kind of time, and did some yoga and went to a yoga class with a friend and a family member. And because they were physically more active, were able to be more involved with the kids. And realized that going out to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is kind of exhausting and gets to be sort of like boring after a week, right? So they found themselves making breakfast at the house and then having a lighter lunch and then going out for a slightly more fun and engaging dinner that was more entertaining. And so we hear where these vacation habits changed. And as a result, it wasn't the normal routine at home. That was that normal gradual play button, but it was also not a rewind. It was a pause. And when we look back on our 12-month year and we go, yeah, that week, those 2 weeks were vacation, had some pause time. That week was a deadline week, had some pause time. That was holidays, had some pause time. And you're press and play in between. What we realize is we've now cultivated an environment that is much more stable, much more sustainable, and in reality, much more enjoyable. And so there you have it, the pause play mindset. Take some time today, reflect on it. What are you pressing fast forward on? And be honest with yourself. What does that rewind look like? And what does that rewind feel like? Because that's the part that we're trying to get rid of. We need to stop pressing rewind and take the time to actually allow new habits to support us and stick around for good. So hope this is a helpful mindset. Please drop a comment below. Share this with a friend or loved one that needs to hear about pause and play. We will be back next week with another Mindset Monday. And until then, be well.